Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The Bridge Street Garage Racing Team, the house racing team of the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here tonight. I have a robust, in fact, an extra robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight. We're going to get back to this graphic here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to make a comment. Please let me know where you're viewing this from and whether or not you are a regular viewer or a first-time viewer. Now, as usual, I like to thank everyone. If you're a first-time viewer, thank you so much for coming on to check us out. I hope that you enjoy this and that you decide to join us here every week, every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, to our regular viewers who are here every single week, you guys are amazing. I thank you so much for that. I could not do this without you. This would not continue without you. So thank you so much for being a regular viewer. Let's get into the comments, and then we'll get right into the program here. We have a regular viewer, John Spranger Jr. from Eland, Wisconsin. Thank you so much for coming on, John. I appreciate it. We have Nick Kafez, regular viewer, loud and clear from Shelby Township, Michigan. Thank you so much for that. Bombard, Floyd, and Lisa. Good evening from the Bombards, 317, Lake George, New York, home of the Minnehaha. I love saying the Minnehaha. I don't know why. It's just a kooky sounding thing to say, but I like it. Thank you guys also for coming on. Mike Carvela, regular viewer, loves the show, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate that. We've also got our good friend Jim Layton from Northern Maine. Says we look good and sound good. Thank you so much for coming on. If you were on last week, you had a chance to view Jim. He was showing us some sleds last week, which was a whole lot of fun. Actually, I think it was a week before last. But we've also got Scott Hutchins from McCall, Idaho. Thank you for coming on, Scott. We appreciate it. Brian Van Haverbeek, good evening from Mount Bridges, Ontario. Mark Kelberg, I'm probably mispronouncing that, and if I am, I apologize. Mark says we sound good, and he's from Minnesota, first-time viewer. Thanks for coming on, Mark. Hope that you enjoy this and decide to join us here each and every week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Chuck Lewin, looking forward to it. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that. Bombard Floyd and Lisa, regular viewer. Corey Munson, first-time viewer from Waverly, Minnesota. Thank you for coming on, Corey. I hope you enjoy it tonight and decide to join us here each and every Thursday night. Glenn Ford, regular viewer, loud and clear from Vernon Center, New York. Sam Ferringer, hi Mike, great show, regular viewer from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, home of the Gettysburg Address. Wade Bigelow from Greenville, Maine. Thank you so much for coming on, Wade. We've got our good friend Joshua Gilbert on here giving us a thumbs up. Now, Joshua, when you came on and made a comment last week, I gave you a shout out, and unfortunately, I had not turned on my microphone, so I don't think you heard what I had to say. I'd like to talk to you behind the scenes via email about coming on a future podcast to tell us about your upcoming racing plans. Joshua is out west. I think he's in Idaho, if memory serves me correctly, and he does some racing. We would love to have him on sometime with updates periodically throughout the race season, and also to let us know about some of his plans. So if you like the sound of that, Joshua, please send me an email behind the scenes, and we'll chat about that and make it happen. A couple of quick more comments, and we're going to get right into the program here. This is try it again. This is an embarrassment of riches to have so many comments coming in. I really appreciate it. John Graber from Clear Lake, Minnesota. How you doing, John? Pete Leduc enjoys the show when he gets to it. From Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. He rides a 74 Raider Hawk 440 twin tracker. Pete, love to have you on for some show and tell with that at some point. In fact, if you were near it and have lights on it, I'd like to have you on later in the program, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But we're going to take one more comment, and then I'll tell you what I mean by that. I'm trying to tease you here with some exciting things that we're going to try and experiment tonight. But before we do, let's take this last comment, and we'll get right into that. Brian Whitney, good evening, first-time viewer from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. That's what that thundering sound is that I could hear. Anyway, I'm good at horrible jokes, but yes, thank you, Brian, for coming on. We appreciate it. And I hope you decide to join us here every week. Now, what was I teasing you with a moment ago? This is what we have on tap tonight. As you can see, we've got 9 items. We have a full slate of entertainment on tap for you, but I'd like to draw your attention to item number 4. We're going to be going live in a few minutes, maybe 10 or 15 minutes from now, and I'm going to try an open line experiment. It is a chance for you to join us live for some show and tell. In a few minutes, I'm going to show a few videos first because I want you to think about this before you decide to join me, and I'll explain why. I'm going to give you the opportunity to come on for some live show and tell. I'm going to put a link in the comments after the first video, so you can come on with your cell phone. Now, there's a few guidelines. This is why I want you to think about this first. I want you to have something for show and tell, something to show us, maybe a snowmobile or some trophies or some vintage clothing or accessories, something to bring on for show and tell, something that we can tangibly look at. A few things you're going to have. You're going to have a cell phone. You have to hold it horizontally like this for a wide shot. Then there's the obvious stuff: no nudity, no profanity, keep it clean, and keep it on the topic of vintage snowmobiles. And we're going to go till about 9:40. This is Eastern time. We're 9:09 right now, and I won't take any more new people after 9:35. And depending on whether I get a lot of people who've checked in who want to do some show and tell, I may ask you to keep it short. If we're only getting 1 or 2, I may ask you to kind of draw it out or just shoot for that. Now, this is an experiment we're trying tonight. This could go horribly wrong, or it could be an incredible amount of fun. It's something we do on a regular basis, and a great way for us to all share and hold a mirror up to this vintage snowmobile hobby that we all love so much, and just see in real time what people are doing, what people are interested in. The other thing I was going to add is if you've got a snowmobile for sale, that's okay too. It's okay if you're selling something. as long as it's related to vintage snowmobiles. If you're trying to sell a wearing blender, well, next. um, so the other thing too is if you're having trouble getting on, and I'll give you an example with your cell phone. You're going to be looking at yourself in your screen, and if you scroll down like this, you'll see a gear icon come up, and that'll allow you to adjust the camera, so you can switch it. So you're now using this camera on your cell phone, so you can do show and tell, and you'll still be able to see the program in your monitor. So if you're having trouble with that, this is where I'm going with this. If you're having trouble with that, it's okay. I may have to move on to the next person just to keep the show moving. But if we found ourselves in that situation, send me an email. In fact, I'll pop the email on the screen, and we'll figure it out. So the next time I do this, we can do a little test beforehand to make sure that you can come on. So if I ask you, if I say, well, we have to move on, I'm not trying to be mean. I just need to keep the show moving, and I appreciate your understanding with that. But I think I've said everything I need to about that. Let's look at a couple of videos. So if you're thinking about doing this, try to go, if you've got a man cave with sleds in it, try to get where you're going to be for that, so you can be ready for this after a couple of videos. Because after video number 2, at the end of video number 2, between 2 and 3, I'm going to post the link, the invitation link for you to click on, so that during video number 3, I hopefully will have a couple of people lined up for some show and tell. Like I said, this is an experiment. This is the first time doing this. I'm sure there are going to be bugs to worked out, but if we can get this, I'd like to do it on a regular basis, and I think this is something that we could all enjoy, so we can all see what other people are doing in this hobby in real time. We can see what's going on in somebody's garage who's got some sleds. If you're outside under the floodlights in front of your house or in back of your house, we can see what's going on. Another thing that would be really cool is we get snow on the ground. We don't have snow here, but if you have snow, or as we get further into the season, if you've got family members riding around on the vintage snowmobiles on the back 40, and you're there with the camera watching that, and they're coming up right in front of the camera going by, that would be absolutely amazing. The possibilities with this are endless. So I'm game for experimenting with this, even if there are bugs to work out. I think this could be a hell of a lot of fun, pardon my français, that we can, it's just a great way to enjoy this hobby. So without further ado, let's get into our first video. This is a quick video, but this is some footage that Valdi Stephanson sent me a few years ago. And one of the things I'm going to ask you as you're viewing this is to guess what sled this is that he's riding. I'm about 85% sure I think I know what this sled is, as far as the brand at least, but I'm not 100% positive. So I want you guys to weigh in with what you think this sled is. And when we come back, we'll take a few comments and then get into the next video, and then we'll start setting up for the live open line program that I've been talking about. So let's take a look at this video from Valdi Stephanson. Okay, time to make the donuts. So what do you guys think that sled was? I'm about 85% sure I know what that sled is, but I want to see what you guys think. Let's take a few comments and see if people start weighing in. We've got James Spranger, loves the show, regular viewer from Wausau, Wisconsin. Our friend Armand Buteau from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. He is a rough dude, extraordinaire, by the way. Thank you for coming on, Armand. We appreciate it, and it was great to see you a few weeks ago. Peter Chappelle from Cuyahoga, New York. Thanks for coming on. Pete Leduc, sorry he doesn't have a cell phone. I'm sorry too, but in the future, if I do this again, if hopefully this is a success and we do this on a regular basis, maybe a family member that would have a cell phone, something to think about. Jim Layton says he hopes this works. It sounds really fun, and Jim has come on to do this before in the past, but of course this is something we planned days, weeks ahead of time. So the idea of doing something impromptu is risky, but with risk comes reward. It's doubly exciting when you don't know quite how it's going to go. It could go horribly wrong, but it could also go incredibly well, which I'm hoping that will be the case. Jared Saylor from Oregon, thank you for coming on, Jared. We appreciate it. Chuck Lewin, Go Pro Rides. Here we go. We've got some comments on what they think that sled might be. Jane Prathers thinks it's a Roloflex. Could be. Pete Leduc thinks possibly a Scorpion. Another person thinking it's an Alouette. Chuck Lewin thinks it's a Rupp. James Springer, I think he hit the return button before he finished his thought. Jeff Packer thinks a Motoski. Jim Gauchion says, as always, great job, and I thank you for that. Jim Layton says Alouette, maybe. Cool. And I can't say right or wrong. I thought it looked an awful lot like a Boaski, but I'm only 85% on that. I'm not positive. Nick Kefes says Chaparral. John Springer Jr. says Herders. And his a relative of his says that's a Herders. John Graber says keeps getting interrupted on his end. Possibly he has bad service. And I apologize for that, John. Hopefully you're able to get that straightened out. So with the Sprangers, are you guys 100% on that? Or where are you on that? Are you guys 100%? Can we confirm that was a Herders, or are we still not sure on that? While we are thinking about that, let's look at the next video. Now, this next video is some footage I took a few years ago. I think it was 2019 at the Vintage Snowmobile Show in Allenstown, New Hampshire at Bear Brook State Park. Now, as you've seen from a lot of the footage that I put on this podcast, I like to go to these vintage snowmobile shows, pardon me, and I like to interview the exhibitors, ask them questions about their sleds, get them to talk up their sleds, and I like to get as much footage of that as I can. But very often there's a sled I'm really interested in finding someone to talk about that sled, but the owner is off checking out other things, and from time to time I just can't get to all of the sleds to find the owner and to have them talk up the sleds. And also this was a show and swap. There are a lot of swap sleds you're about to see, and sometimes too people just aren't comfortable talking things up, and I never push it. But a lot of times they're happy with me just filming the sled or talking off on the side or whatever. But here's just some random footage from that show. Let's take a look at that random footage from the Allenstown, New Hampshire Vintage Snowmobile Show and Swap at Bear Brook State Park 2019.
I don't care what you think of me.
Yeah, so that's from 2019, the Allenstown Vintage Snowmobile Show at Bear Brook State Park, not too far from Manchester. And I don't know if I said this as well as I would have liked to when I was setting up that clip. Um, those are the clips that I took, the video footage that I took of people who weren't available to talk up their sleds or weren't comfortable talking up their sleds. So I just kind of put that into a compilation there with some music under it, so we can still enjoy it. And I had plenty of interviews too with people who were willing to talk up their sleds. But now we're getting to the moment of truth here. Let's take a few comments here, and then I'm going to post that. We got people saying hello. I'm sorry, I'm trying to click and talk at the same time and doing a horrible job of both. In just a moment, I'm going to post that invitation link for people to come on here with their cell phone for some show and tell. And I'm going to go over the guidelines one more time as I'm doing that. Mike Carvela says it's a moto ski. James Springer says 100% that is a herder. And I thank you so much for confirming what that was. I appreciate that. And Wade Bigelow is commenting. I'm not sure who was commenting. Maybe somebody in that video. I'm not sure. Hopefully not me, because you can't see it. All right. So I am posting right this second a link in the comments. And this is an invitation for you to come on if you can meet certain criteria. Number one, we've got to keep it clean, no nudity, no profanity. You've got to hold your cell phone horizontally like this for a wide shot. And you have to have something to show, something related to vintage snowmobiles to show. Now, once you get on, it's going to take you into a holding area while I'm playing this next video. While you're in that holding area, this is just a black screen, but you want to scroll like this, and you'll see a little gear icon in the middle of your screen. You click on that, it says camera, and that will allow you to change the camera from the camera that faces this way to the camera that faces this way. And you want to be able to get to know that, switch it back and forth while you're waiting, so you're comfortable with that, because we want to see your face, of course, when you first come on, and then you're going to switch it to show us whatever it is you're going to show us. So while we're waiting for people to come on with their cell phones and clicking that link and getting that worked out, we're going to watch one more video. This is a video sent to me a while back from a friend of mine, John Sherris. He does the Truck Lover YouTube channel. And he went to a meet, I think in 2018, where they've got Model T snowmobiles. This is like you saw on that Christmas special. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the Model T with the tracks on the back and the skis in the front. There's a whole club in New Hampshire that celebrates this kind of stuff. Let's take a look. And on the other side, pardon me, on the other side, we're going to see if we can do some show and tell. And hopefully we got a few people trying to get on here with their cell phones.
Hi, Truck Lover here. Today is Sunday, February 4th, 2018, and I'm in Milton, New Hampshire for the annual meet of the Model T Ford Snowmobile Club. They've got a pretty nice spot up here. They got a nice big lake to run around on and whatnot, and I've grabbed a couple of rides already and looked at a bunch of the machines, so come with me, we'll check them all over. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to subscribe, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, hit the picture of me sitting in front of the boiler of a Lombard steam-powered log hauler that you'll find in the end credits. And as always, thanks for watching.
So thank you so much to John Sherrish. In fact, we give a big shout out to John Sherrish for sharing that information with us. We really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, I saw a couple of people pop in into the waiting area to go live. I saw Michael, I saw James, and I saw Richard. And I don't know if they were having technical difficulties on their end, or if they weren't sure that they had to wait for the video to finish, or I'm not sure what's going on. But if you want to try again, we're waiting for you right now. We'd love to bring you on live for the show and tell. Um, while we're waiting, let's look at one more video. This is a shorter video. This is only maybe a minute and a half. If you guys want to try again, and anyone else who's got something to show and tell, and you want to come on here live with your cell phone for some show and tell, please click on the link that I posted in the description, and we'll bring you on live for some show and tell. Oh, wait, we've got Michael coming on here now. Let's see if we can bring him on. How you doing, Michael?
Good. Yourself?
Good, good. Now we can hear you, but we can't see you just yet. I know when you were in the waiting. There we go.
Okay, now I got to figure out how to turn the camera around, or I can just hold it the other way too.
Sure, sure.
So I'm out in my garage right now.
There we go.
A couple of my sleds I've been working on for over the summer months.
Yeah, some nice cats
I just
there.
picked up the Z actually, but a couple of EXTs I've been working on through the summertime here. I got a 340. Engine just got rebuilt. I just put a new track in it, so I'm waiting for a couple more parts for the EXT. We're getting some snow right now, so pretty excited.
Wonderful.
And then over the summer, I rebuilt a 440 triple 1972 EXT. The hood's not on it right now, but But
Nice triple, yeah.
so obviously I'm a cat guy, pretty hard and heavy, but I got a couple of Skidoos too. I love them all.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I love them all, but cat is definitely my favorite.
Great
Very
show.
nice.
Appreciate it. Love watching it every week on Thursdays. Look forward to it when I get home from work.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Just to see.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. But yeah,
Now,
newest one was the Z here. That's
the Z?
Yeah, it's all original. I'm just going through the fuel system on it right now. Looking at all the mechanicals and all that good stuff just before, like I said, before we got enough snow to ride at least.
Yeah, that's in gorgeous shape, especially for an original.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice.
Yeah, that is something else.
Pretty excited.
Now, where are you located? Are you in the U.S. or in Canada? Or?
Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Yeah, okay.
Ishpeming, Michigan. So that's up by Marquette.
Yeah, nice.
Up by Lake Superior.
Okay. Gotcha. And you say you've got snow on the ground now?
We got a little bit. There was an inch of snow. We got a little bit of rain, and it's actually snowing right now. So we're just getting another cover on the ground. So
nice.
Yeah, shouldn't be long.
Yeah. Now, will you take these out yard riding as you get enough snow?
Absolutely. I'm close to right from my house. I can get back onto a power line. I have a trail back there, and it's close to the state trail, but there's a spot back there I can go riding around, me and my buddy. So
nice.
Whenever I get the chance, put it that way. And come home from work, jump on the sled and go ride.
That's cool. Because where I'm going with that is on a future episode, I'd love to have you consider maybe having another person there to hold the camera and do some yard riding in front of the camera for us all to enjoy. Is that something to think about?
Absolutely.
That would be a blast. And I'd like to put that seed in everyone else's mind as well. Because I'd love for us to be able to do that kind of thing live and in real time on this podcast. By all means,
I'd love to.
Nice. Now, did you grow up with sleds? Did this start as during your childhood as far as this enthusiasm for vintage sleds?
Yes, it did with my father. He as a youngster, I'm not sure how old I was, but I was probably 5-6 years old. I'm 56 years old right now.
Yeah.
He had some Articats as we grew up. So, yeah, I mean, as a kid, he took me riding and it went from there. So
that was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of grow up with it, especially up in the UP and, we're, all in the Midwest here where we get snow. So, I mean,
yeah, early to mid 70s, snowmobiling was on fire.
Yes.
And I'm only a year older than you. I'm 57, so I think we had a very similar experience growing up with that. And we had cats as well, and a lot of our neighbors did. And we had other brands, and they had other brands. But there was just something really special about the cats, especially during the early to mid 70s.
Yes. And like I said, I got a couple of
One Eland, yeah.
Yeah, I got an Eland too. I got a couple of them. There's another one over in the corner over there under the yellow cover. That's for my granddaughter when she gets big. She's 6 right now, so trying to get her on the sled. She'll ride with me, but she ain't ready to drive yet. So, but hopefully this year, we'll see.
Nice. She has some good times waiting for her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't there an ad campaign that said "Good times are coming on the cat"?
Yes.
Yeah. Little does she know. That is cool. And then what's that other covered sled?
So that's a 440 LT gray right there. 73.
With a big little bit
modified. It's a little modified. I'm trying to get this camera right too, but
yeah. Now, are you holding it horizontally for a wide shot?
I know, but I can't. I should switch it.
Yeah, let's try that just for a second. See if that gives us a. There we go. Oh, that opens it right up.
Oh, I forgot you said to do that too.
That's all right. Yeah, that's a much better view. But go ahead, please talk that up.
Yep. 73 440 LT gray. Been doing a little bit of modifications to it. It's got a set of AN pipes on it. It's rejetted. I got another set of skis for it for racing, and got I got lots of lots of projects going on, just like every other guy does.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
Yeah. I forgot to hold the phone horizontally, like you said, to get a better picture of everything. So
no worries. But yeah, you're right. That opened it right up. Good deal. Now, how long have you had these sleds that we're looking at?
So I just picked up the Z 3 weeks ago. I've had the 2 EXTs for a couple of years. The LT Gray I've had for like 4 years. The Elands I've had for probably 4 or 5 years. I've got a couple other sleds too out in my trailer too. So
yeah,
but always evolving.
Very cool. Well, good. Yeah, I appreciate your coming on tonight, and please consider for the future, as there's enough snow for some riding, to try to do some riding in front of us on the camera. Maybe have a family member or somebody hold the camera and do some ride bys.
Absolutely. I'll definitely do that for that'd be great. I'd have fun doing that.
For sure. And for anyone else who's watching too, please think about that as we start getting a little more snow on the ground.
Yep.
That would really take this podcast to a whole new level to be doing that kind of stuff live.
Awesome. I'd be honored to be part of it.
Wonderful. Yeah. And that's mutual as well. Honored to have you on, because without the viewers and people willing like yourself who are willing to come on like this, this podcast it wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't be what it is.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, likewise. Well, cool. Well, I'm going to let you go, but I really appreciate your coming on tonight, especially being the first one to participate in this experiment like this. It went really well as far as I'm concerned, and we'd like to have you on sometime in the near future, especially as you have some snow on the ground.
Yes, absolutely. Great. I know as soon as I heard you were going to do this, I hurried up and got my jacket on, got down in the garage because it's cold down here right now, but I thought I better get down there just in case I can pull this off.
Nice. Well, good. I'm really glad you did. This is really cool.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Well, cool. How fun was that? Do we dare say that the experiment was a success? As far as I'm concerned, that was a blast, and I'm hoping we can do a whole lot more of this through the upcoming season, bringing people on live like that, kind of impromptu, and seeing what they've got, and especially as we have snow on the ground, do some yard riding and some drive-bys. That would really be amazing. That would take this podcast to a crazy level, crazy fun level. Let's take a few quick comments, and then we're going to get into the next video. We've got John Saylor thinks it would be interesting to see whether or not there's still some of the old timers that got the call from their bosses, like from Sears or a Massey Ferguson, saying, "Hey, we're going to start building snowmobiles." Who did they get in contact to build them? Who were the designers? Became interesting. Who are the designers It became interesting just to talk to him and find out what kind of stories they have. Wow, it's funny you say that, Jared. I'm going to pop this off the screen because I've got a story that just about falls into what you're talking about a little later in the evening. One of the videos that I've got is someone who has a story that just about falls into what you're talking about. So I hope you'll stay on here for a little while and check that out and see if that satisfies that itch for some stories like that. And I've got some other cool stories too for us. But let's take a few more comments. Pardon me. Sam Ferringer says he loves the Model Ts. Well, glad you enjoyed that. Steve Peterson is saying to Michael he likes the Z. You're not alone with that, my friend. Doug Reinstra, sweet, extra, and Z. Yeah, he likes the EXT and the Z. Absolutely. Sam Ferringer is saying yes. I think he's liking that we brought Michael on live. Michael will be glad to see that too, that people are enjoying this, and I'm glad to see people are enjoying this. Doug Reinstra likes the EXT, so yes, that was a typo. Cool deal. Yeah, those are some sweet cats, and looking forward to doing more of that kind of stuff as the season progresses, bringing people on live like this. That's the amazing thing about the technology we have today, is we can, how do I say this? Anyone who was around in the 70s has and was part of the snowmobile scene back in that day has wonderful memories of it. I know I do. Most of you who are watching this, I'm sure you do as well. That was just an amazing, amazing time. And, time moves on and things change and all of this. And there's part of me that would, God, I'd like to be able to travel back and experience that. Well, obviously we can't do that, but we can celebrate those memories and those sleds that still exist with this technology that we have now, because we can all connect to each other via something like this podcast to celebrate and enjoy this hobby in real time. And we can all do show and tell and share pictures and videos. It's just an amazing way to keep those wonderful memories alive in a very real and tangible way, to see all these cool sleds that we remember from back in the day. So I could gush like that for an hour. I won't. I'm going to play the next video for you instead. This is a good friend of mine we're about to meet, Steve Bushway. I see him at all of the shows in northern Vermont and northern New Hampshire. At this particular show, this was at the Goffstown, New Hampshire Vintage Snowmobile Show a few years ago. He brought one of his Yamahas. I'll let him tell you about it.
75 Yamaha GPX 433. They made them 2 years consumer. The 74s, the 75s. There's several differences between the two, but then they went to the liquid cool SRXs. It's been a kind of a hobby of mine. I got a couple of them. Trail ride them, have fun with them, enjoy them. And this one I've cleaned up, made it into a trailer queen of sorts. Take it to shows, have fun.
Nice.
That's what I'm after.
Beautiful. Well, cool. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to just kind of do like a walk around of it. There we go. I'll come around this side. There we go. This is a better angle. You know, all the Hollywood stars always say, shoot me from my good side. You know? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I need to get this back and fix the crack. I get the striping cleared, I get all that. I'm good.
Yeah, sweet sled. That's Steve Bushway's Yamaha. And hopefully he's viewing tonight. I messaged him earlier today that I'd be doing this. Hopefully he's on here watching. Let's take a couple of quick comments, and then we're going to get into the next video. Matt Schaefer says, how about the Kawasaki sleds? Not sure what about them, but yeah, they are amazing, especially as we get into the late 70s and early 80s. The styling was fantastic on those sleds. And I drove, I think I drove a drifter once. I never drove like the Invaders and the Intruders, but I hear that those are nice handling sleds and quite fast. Ed Rosebrook, my friend Ed Rosebrook, Sears had several different snowmobile companies building sleds for them and rebranding them, Polaris, Ski Dadler, etc. And absolutely, we're going to see Ed on this podcast a little later as well. Now, as far as Jared's question, let's get right into the next video. I was at the Fire and Ice drags a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I had a guy, this happens a lot, where someone comes up and they have something they want to show or something they want to tell me about. They're really not comfortable being on camera. But anyway, he had a story and his friend was saying, oh, you got to hear this story. So yeah, let's hear the story. And what I did is I had him tell the story with the camera pointed down. Then I got a snapshot of him and I just superimposed that. So let's check out this story. I think this is going to satisfy some of what Jared was asking about. Let's take a look.
You've got a cool story that you're going to want to hear.
I graduated in 1972.
Yeah.
I started working in 1971 for a guy down in Berlin, New Hampshire. Okay, his name was Roland Lydia, and he's the one that manufactured rocket snowmobiles.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we ended up building 11 snow machines, okay, out of sheet metal, and then he ended up buying this outfit. He's originally from Canada, and they were called Transkys then, and then he ended up buying that whole dealership that closed up there, manufacturing plant, I should say,
yeah.
And he ended up buying that place out. Then he brought that into Berlin, and then he ended up calling these Transkys rockets. But we had these rockets, we had the Transkys, we had the Whippets, made by Memco.
I've seen those. They were made in Maine, right?
Yeah,
I saw one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
We had the Autocats. We had the Autocats. We didn't have the players. We had the Skidoos and the motor skis.
Okay.
So we had 5 brands up there. The first year we took Autocat over in 1972, the franchise. We sold 125 brand new sleds right out of the crate.
Yeah.
$1,300 for a brand new Cheetah and $1,500 for a brand new Panther.
Nice.
Okay. I worked for that guy for, 13 years, 14 years?
Wow. Let's see those prices again.
Oh, my God. In fact, if I remember right, okay, in 1972, 73, I think there was like 161 or 171 different model snowmobiles then. And
Yeah.
what do we get today? We get 4.
There's 4 brands, yeah.
Yamaha, Polaris.
Yeah, so Jared, that one was for you. And Jared's onto something though. Those old obscure brands, a lot of those were done either in someone's garage or in a small shop, really small mom and pop type of businesses. If any of those people are still around, or if anybody viewing this knows any of those people or has connections with them, I would love to bring some of those people on to hear some of those stories, maybe look at some of those images if they have images, or if they still have any of those sleds left or parts or anything that we could do some show and tell on. Love to hear that. And if they're not willing to come on the podcast live, if you've got your cell phone, just hold it horizontally like this for a wide shot and see if they'll talk it up. See if they can tell you some stories. And if they don't want to be on camera, do like I did with Paul Hood here. Just have them off camera and take some pictures, or have them maybe share some pictures with you that we can put into a montage while they're telling the story. I would love to see more of that. And you were absolutely right, Jared, that we want to try to experience and preserve some of those memories while we still can. A lot of those people are older and no longer around. So yeah, right on with that, Jared. I appreciate it. One more comment. We're going to get into the next video. Jason Seamer says, how many sleds do I have and what kind? Good question. I only have one sled right now. It's neither modern or vintage. It's a 92 Ski-Doo Safari L. It's the longer version with the 2-up seat. It's in excellent condition. I think it's got only 600 or so miles on it. The cable broke on the Speedo. So I don't know anymore how many miles. It's in kilometers. It's a Canadian sled. And I just use it for yard riding. Runs great. And if you look on Vintage Snowmobile Lovers, the Facebook page, just search for Vintage Snowmobile Lovers on Facebook. Get into the video area and scroll down. You'll see some footage of me doing some yard riding, talking it up and so forth. But yeah, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Now, a couple of more quick videos. We're going to meet Greg Worth. This is from the Lisbon Snowmobile Racing. They were having in Lisbon, New Hampshire in 2018 or 19. He had just come off the track and he had a 74 Cheetah, and he's going to tell us about it. And as you'll see in the video, I walk around a little before I caught up with him. Let's take a look. Nice cat. Is that a Cheetah?
Yeah, it's my brother.
Nice.
My name's Greg Worth. We're racing my 1974 Arctic Cat Cheetah with 440 Kawasaki in it. We've changed some things from originally on it. We've got the 36mm Mikuni carb on it, put a rubber track on it, got a Skidoo suspension under it. Today's not the best day. Things have been better before, but that's the way it is at times.
Sure, you win some, lose some, right?
Yeah, you win some, lose some. It's going to get pretty warm here right off.
Sure.
But for the most part, they're good old sleds, and we have a good time playing with them.
Nice. Yeah, that was nice meeting Greg. And yeah, nice cat. For all of us cat lovers, it's always good to see the cats, especially the cheetahs. Before we get into the next video, let's do a quick shout out to our friends at the Lancaster Motel. And then on the other side of this shout out, we're actually going to the Lancaster Motel. So let's look at that now. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our friends at the historic Lancaster Motel in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Lancaster Motel has been serving snowmobilers since the 60s, and they are the perfect eastern trail riding destination for snowmobilers young and old. The Lancaster Motel is right on Corridor Trail 5 in Lancaster, New Hampshire, with plenty of parking for vehicles, sleds, and trailers. Plus, the Lancaster Motel is within walking distance of Crane's Snowmobile Museum, plus restaurants, shopping, entertainment, and more. Click the link in the description to learn more about the Lancaster Motel. So yeah, the Lancaster Motel. We're about to meet the son of the people who are the founders of the Lancaster Motel. His parents built the Lancaster Motel in 1956, I think it was, and there's different owners now, but Lancaster Motel is steeped in the history of the snowmobile. When they used to have the Lancaster Grand Prix back in the day, they used to have all of the racers would come and stay at the Lancaster Motel, and they would have the award ceremony in this very room that you're going to see us in here in just a moment. But yeah, let's meet the former owner of the Lancaster Motel. We've got two videos with him. He's telling some stories from yesteryear.
You won your class on the oval, and you done real good in the obstacle. He said, if you do good in that cross country, he said, you can win this easy, because there's nobody close to you in points that close.
Oh, by points, sure.
Because it went by points then. I left the fairgrounds, and when I come up across the meadow a little fast and landed in the middle of the road up here by Cranes, Butch and Johnny were standing there, and they said, because I had left in the second group,
Okay.
I had left everybody in the second group, and I was the first guy in the first group. You've gone, he said, we knew you won because you'd gone by everybody. I get up by Zhang's, Zhang's farm, and the kids were standing out there, and that sled made the goddamn this big bang, and what the hell was that? And it wouldn't start. So I said, well, must have blew a plug. By the time I got the plug changed, enough guys went by me before I get in to the gate to get back to the finish line. I ended up 5th overall.
Oh, and that's what it was a plug?
That was a plug. I changed the plug, and it just blew. That was it.
I see the
Great big pop.
Wow.
And Fortin told me, Fortin would say when we were standing in the pit, he said, well, if you see me along the way, he said, stop and give me a ride. Coming up over the field up there up by Carter Farm. And he had missed the bank where you go thinking he was off like this. I didn't stop to pick him up. I kept going.
Oh, jeez. Was he mad? When he got back home, was he mad?
Yeah, I don't remember.
So how cool is it to hear those old stories of racing and riding from yesteryear, the glory days of the snowmobile, the 60s and the 70s. He was there in the heart of it, and he owned the Lancaster Motel at that time, catering to all those snowmobilers back then when snowmobiling was red hot. I've got another story with Tommy. Now, he's going to be talking to the same gentleman he was talking with before, but we're going to actually see them. We've got Ed Midge Rosebrook, as well as Shane Beatty. Now, Shane Beatty, if you were watching last week, we had Spencer Beatty on. He was with the Bridge Street Garage Racing Team. Well, this is Spencer's father, Shane. And Tom, that we were just talking to, is Shane's uncle. So there's all these connections with racing and snowmobiling and the Lancaster Motel. It all ties in together in a really cool way. But let's hear another story from Tom, or about Tom.
Anyway, I was in the announcer's booth at the 2014 50th Grand Prix reunion, and they had the Elan class come out. And a gentleman quickly got in the lead, and he was driving that Elan about as smooth as anybody that I'd ever seen. A very, very smooth race. And the announcer, Neil Chapman, asked me who that was. And I said, that is Mr. Tom McLaughlin. And I says, Tom is 80 years old. Well, Neil on all the pieces. He said, seriously? He says, wait a minute. He says, I recognize that name. He says, didn't he run the motel? I says, he did. And I said, he used to race years ago. And I said, he did okay, but he never really did a lot of winning. But I said, apparently, he's matured. Because he was a half a lap ahead of the second place sled on a machine that Mark Belanger had built for him. And so he won that race. at the 50th Grand Prix reunion, and he got his first Kilkenny Cup at 80 years old.
Wow.
And in 2015, Tom says, I'm going to go back. He says, I'm going to defend my title. And defend he did. Because at the end of the 2015 race, Tom got his second Kilkenny Cup.
Wow.
Well, the problem is in 2016, we rained out. And we had to cancel the event. And we had it again in 2017. And at 82 years old, 83, 83, well, this was it, let me see, you're 80 in 2014, 81 in 2015,
Yeah.
so he's been 83. At 83 years old, Tom McLaughlin gets another Kilkenny Cup.
That's
And
amazing.
although it wasn't 3 wins in a row, now in order to take that great big cup home back in the day, you had to win 3 years in a row to take that cup. Unfortunately, because of that rain-out event, Tom doesn't have that big cup at home, but he's got 3 small ones.
Okay, yeah.
But I won 3 consecutive races.
Yes, he did. He did.
3 consecutive races.
He did. And he should have that big cup home with him.
I wouldn't take it home. I wouldn't take it home.
Well, the whole problem lies with Mr. Beatty here, because he pulled a vote one night at the Snowdrifters meeting that we vote that the Kilkenny Cup is no longer in play. So, yeah, we still have that cup. But
Belongs to the Snowdrifters.
Yep. Tom, you can't take that away from Tom McLaughlin.
Yeah.
To win 3 cups in a row.
That's amazing.
At 83 years old.
But I won 3 consecutive times.
3 consecutive times. Yes, he did. 3 consecutive wins. And his last win was in 83. And Tom, fortunately for the rest of them, decided to retire. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You're going to have another race?
He may come out of retirement, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
When's the 60th?
Yeah, there we go.
When's that coming up?
2024. 3 years away.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. It's around the corner.
Yeah. We can hold his cane for him, and he can do it.
Yeah.
I don't need the cane once I get on the saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that was something. And I would have hated to have been one of those young fellas following in Tom's dust, knowing I got trimmed by an 80-year-old person.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think I'd have loaded the sled and gone back home.
Yeah.
But Tom did a terrific job. Yeah. You can't imagine how smooth he was. It just
posture.
His posture.
It was just
he done that, and he'd set himself over just a little bit, and go around that corner, and he'd straighten up.
Yeah.
Smooth, huh?
Smooth.
Wow. Is the right body English?
Track that smooth.
Yeah. No, you did a terrific job on that little twin Eland. Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is that to hear those old stories of yesteryear? Now, that interview and those stories were filmed in the lobby of the Lancaster Motel. We had a day last January where a bunch of us met there and we interviewed people and swapped stories and got a lot of really good footage that I'll be airing periodically here throughout the upcoming season with the podcast. So be sure to look forward to that. And I have to thank the Lancaster Motel for being so gracious in hosting us to be able to do those interviews and have that amazing time and swap those stories. That was really nice. Now, I've got to say, the Lancaster Motel, if you're thinking about some snowmobiling this winter, some trail riding, you can't do better than the Lancaster Motel. They're just walking distance from Crane's Snowmobile Museum. They're right on the trail. Wonderful accommodations, wonderful people, and Lancaster, as well as the motel, is just steeped in the history of the snowmobile. If you like this vintage stuff and the history of snowmobiling, you're not going to find a place that is just more deeply connected to the history and the heritage and the legacy and the wonderful memories that we have of snowmobiling back in the day. Now, the Lancaster Motel also has a great deal. Most people, of course, come up for a few days during the week or on a weekend or what have you. But for a lot of people who are maybe out-of-staters who want to come up and tow all their stuff, their sleds and their gear, tow it up once, leave everything there, and just drive back and forth on weekends or whenever they're able to, this can be your home away from home. This isn't for everyone, but for the right person, this can be an excellent situation. You're renting the room by the month or by the season, and you just leave all your gear there, your sleds, everything, and you just drive back and forth. So you're not having to tow every single time you come up there. It's a wonderful opportunity, and you can also rent by the night or by the week or whatever you need. But it's just a really nice option for the right person to be able to just have a home away from home in snowmobile country like that. And again, you're just walking distance from Crane Snowmobile Museum, restaurants, movies, shopping. You're right in the downtown, but you're also right on the trail, and you're steeped in this amazing history. And if you watched, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we had Ed on, Midge Rosebrook, and he was talking about the very building where those first Ski-Doo snowmobiles were imported into the U.S. The first Ski-Doo snowmobiles came into the U.S. through Lancaster. So yeah, it's the place to be. It's a great way to combine modern snowmobile trail riding of today with the history and the lore and just everything that we love about snowmobiling back in the day. In fact, we've got a couple more comments. Jason said, thank you for answering his question. You're very welcome. And then Ed, who we were just talking to, you did catch it. Okay, he wanted to know how I made it appear as if we had two cameras going, which we did not, bouncing back and forth like that. Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would catch. That was just the same clip over and over again to make it look like a conversation and not just a one-sided thing instead of swinging the camera back and forth. Thank you for catching that. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Well, folks, that is all we have tonight. I thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you also to Michael for being the first person to come on here as an impromptu for a live experiment like that. That was wonderful, and I'd like to do more of that. Periodically, I'm going to open it up like that through the season so we can bring people on live. And if you've got something in mind, you want to do some yard riding, or you've got sleds you want to show me, send me an email behind the scenes, and we'll plan for it. Let me pop an email on the screen here. This is how to reach me. Just send me an email and say, hey, you're doing the live, the live thing, the open line thing this week. And if so, can we come on, or when can we come on, or just, email me, let me know what you've got in mind. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the scheduling, and we can do a test behind the scenes to make sure it's going to work and everything. But that in my mind was a winner. I really enjoyed doing that. I hope you did as well. We've got a few last comments coming in. Nick Kafez says, great show tonight. Am I doing a show next Thursday? Excellent question. I'm glad you asked, because it's Thanksgiving next Thursday. So I will not be doing a live show. I'll be airing an interview in this time slot, though. So if you're available, if you're not partying and celebrating with your family, I will have something in this time slot for you. So do look forward to that. I'm going to keep you in suspense as to what it will be, but I will have something for you. The following week, we'll be back live, same kind of stuff we've been doing. And hopefully, Nick, in fact, if you've got anything you'd like to show us, please give some thought to doing what we did tonight, like what we did with Michael, if you've got something for some show and tell. Jared Saylor says, great show. You're very welcome. Or thank you. Yeah. As you can see, I'm getting tired here. John Spranger Jr. says, awesome show tonight. I thank you so much for that. Doug says, great show. Thank you very much. Michael Carvela, thank you for having me on the show. Okay, so that was you. Okay. I wasn't sure what your last name was, but yeah, thank you, Michael Carvela, so much for coming on. That was an absolute blast. We look forward to doing it again. And yeah, let's wind down the program here, because once we pass the 10 o'clock hour here, I'm upstairs in a bedroom, and 10 o'clock is when people start coming up to go to bed. So I need to wind this down. But before we do, let's take one last, we'll give our friends at Mad Ramps the last word, but I will look forward to catching you guys on the other side. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll catch up with you guys the week after. But like I said, we're going to have something in this time slot. It's just going to be pre-recorded next Thursday. I hope you'll check it out. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Catch you on the other side. Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about AMSOIL. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your AMSOIL products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what AMSOIL is and why you should consider using AMSOIL products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. AMSOIL is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses AMSOIL for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that AMSOIL is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because AMSOIL doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And AMSOIL likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves them money. Some of the people like the benefit of AMSOIL is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, AMSOIL says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the AMSOIL bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the AMSOIL. AMSOIL's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero. Wow. If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So AMSOIL is an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running AMSOIL than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And AMSOIL is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that AMSOIL has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the AMSOIL experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen. And yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
AMSOIL has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, AMSOIL will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. AMSOIL sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value. And this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering AMSOIL. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an AMSOIL order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all of these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've join the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click add to cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click view cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order that gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of the signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click checkout now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters free DVD requests, so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up, and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing, or hot rods, we have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business that's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL. People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the products.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSOIL's a fun business. AMSOIL's been around since 1968. It was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.
It's the ultimate combination of simplicity and ingenuity. The newest way to load, unload, and transport your ATV or UTV. The MadRamp's Pivoting Ramp System. Made in the USA and engineered for strength and durability. Maneuver through tight places and over rugged terrain with plenty of ground clearance. No licensing, no ongoing maintenance costs, and no storage hassles like trailers. Won't slip or move like conventional ramps. Free up more cargo space in the bed of your truck. Securely connects to your truck's receiver hitch. Easily extends for safe loading and unloading. Seamlessly retracts for highway and off-road travel. DOT approved in all 50 states and Canada. Quickly disconnects in under a minute. A unique space-saving storage system. The MadRamp's Pivoting Ramp System. Go farther. Go faster. Go safer.
When you order using the link in the description, I'll send you 3 free Vintage Snowmobile DVDs. When you order using the link in the description, I'll send you 3 free Vintage Snowmobile DVDs.